can be, if everything runs according to plan, 3 to 4 years. And another nice benefit of greenhouse industry, greenhouse business, is that it can increase employment opportunities and it improves agricultural innovation. This whole project that we've been doing in Abuja is 100% Dutch greenhouse technology, but it is adapted to local circumstances in Nigeria. So if you think about greenhouses, that's a really good idea. Like we say, it is a good business case, strong business case, but before you go into it, you have to consider a few things. Greenhouses are financially a high investment, so it's an intense investment, much more intense than open field. So there's also some risks involved. So in order to protect yourself against these risks, you have to look before you leap, consider a few points. Let me go through them. Very important is to determine your market potential. Analyze your market. You see some pictures here on the side. Check out the supermarkets, check out the wholesalers. What are the prices? What is your potential return? Then determine availability of suitable land. Very important, but very often not considered on time. People think about going into greenhouses, but having a good piece of land available to position your greenhouse is just as important. Determine your capital investment capacity. You can think about greenhouses, but it requires investment. So you need to organize your capital and your investment. And this is very often a challenge. Determine your future project scale and greenhouse concept. A very important thing to consider. Are you looking at starting up 1 hectare maximum, or are you looking at starting up 10 hectares maximum? This is way different from each other, and it requires different approaches and different greenhouse concepts. And then, last but not least, determine your startup management strategy. Your training, your capacity building, very important. Once you have set up your project, you need to train your people to run it appropriately. So, selecting your site, very important. Try to find yourself an elevated terrain where there's good air movement. This has to do with ventilation in your greenhouse. So avoid recessed areas in valleys where there's no or little wind, where it gets too hot. Avoid hilly terrains. Select a relatively leveled land. Why? Land leveling is very cost intensive. So if you choose to build a big greenhouse project in a hilly area, it will cost you a fortune to level the area. Then availability of clean and sufficient irrigation water. Very often this is not considered in advance, but it's one of the most important selection criteria for a good location is good, clean irrigation water. The best is even borehole water. Access to main road, access to your final market destination, very important. And if possible, access to grid power. So determining the right greenhouse concept.
Oh no.